My name is Steve Dundas, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Applied Economics at Oregon State University. I study how natural hazard risk and sea level rise impact people's choices and decisions in coastal areas about where they live, how much they are willing to pay for their home, and about the land use changes that they possibly might make on their properties. The information people reveal through such choices gives us information on how they value coastal protection options and gives us information about the behavioral drivers of land use change. From a policy perspective, this type of information gives us critical pieces that we need to construct better future policies that will help communities better adapt to climate change and become more resilient. I look at coastal climate adaptation around the country in places like New Jersey and North Carolina. In these places, public infrastructure projects such as beach nourishment are common. These large projects are typically done at a community scale or a regional scale. But here in Oregon, we have a unique opportunity to study how private or individual level adaptation decisions about climate adaptation occur. So my focus in Oregon is on State Planning Goal 18. This planning goal gives us information, regulations about how to manage our coastal resources, beaches and dunes. And it also, importantly, prohibits the hardening or the armoring of shoreline. However, due to avoiding potential for a constitutional problem with a regulatory taking, homes that were constructed prior to these planning goals being adopted in the 70s are grandfathered in and are allowed to armor their private property. So these homes that have this protection eligibility are allowed to harden their shorelines if their parcels become vulnerable to sea level rise. This gives us a unique opportunity where we have similar homes that have this protection option and those that don't, to understand how housing markets capitalize the value of having this protection option to adapt to sea level rise. The homes that have that option can sell for up to 22% more than a similar home that does not have that option. This indicates that people really value the option to protect themselves or the option to adapt to rising sea levels. We find that it's not just erosion or El Nino storm events or other physical risk factors that drive the decision to change your land use, that it's also interactions with the decisions of your neighbors. So for example, if my direct neighbor decides to harden their shoreline, I may be worried about deflected wave action accelerating the problem on my parcel, which we call in economics a spatial externality. That might change the calculus in my head of my decision process to install armoring on my property. Sea level rise is an issue that coastal communities are currently experiencing and will continue to experience for centuries to come. Better understanding how people now are behaving and responding to coastal risks will help us develop and design better policies moving forward. Currently in the United States and globally, you see community level options such as beach nourishment, private options such as armoring, and one less discussed option is relocating critical infrastructure out of harm's way or a managed retreat. I would argue that we need to start thinking at a community level about sea level rise and coastal climate risk in a way to prevent, say, an unmanaged retreat from the coastline. We need to start thinking, communities need to start making decisions today about how to best adapt to climate futures.